Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Tiara and I am the owner of Black Teacup. Before we get started with this week's YouTube, I did want to let you guys know that I posted a quick offset tutorial for Silhouette Studio. Someone had requested that maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, so be sure to check that out. And for this week's YouTube, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create these medical pen lights. I posted these to my TikTok a couple weeks ago and they had a large response, so I thought I would show you guys how I made them. Of course, everything I used to create these will be linked down in the description box below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and let's get started.
Okay, so let's get started. The pack comes with 2 pins, and you want to start out by taking the pins apart and taking out all the unnecessary components that we don't need. So that top light, the bottom clicker, and the little pocket clip, take that out, and the batteries. So all you're going to be left with is the outer shell for the middle portion. Don't forget to put your pieces that we're not using right now, put them back in the box or put them in a secure place so that you don't lose them. I always stick mine back in the box. So I'm going to take a sanding sponge and begin sanding my pens. They're really nice and shiny and you want to get that shine off. These are made of aluminum, so just go ahead and scuff it up and really get all the way around. And then next I'll take some rubbing alcohol and just wipe down the pens to make sure there's no residue or oil or anything else on the pen before we begin spray painting. So I got this pack of wooden dowels from Walmart. It's a variety of different sizes and they hold these pen lights decent. They will slide all the way down, up and down the stick. So to remedy that, I am going to use a little bit of electrical tape and wrap it around on the stick so that it'll stop it from going like up and down, because while I'm spray painting, I don't want it to go all the way down to the bottom. So that'll just add a little thickness so that it can't go past that area. I'm sure they make like adapters to hold your pens and the light pens, but this is inexpensive and it works. So this is just the way I do it. So I'm going to be using Candy Pink by Rust-Oleum to base paint my pen lights. Small, quick burst. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cover these with glitter. So after the paint has dried, we're going to bring the pens inside, and I'm going to use this 1/4 inch green painter's tape to section my pen off. So we'll be using 4 different colored glitters. I need to divide my pen into 4 sections. So I'm just going to be using a 12-inch ruler, and I'm going to measure the length of my pen, and it shows just a little over 4 inches. So I know I want each section to be a little bit over 1 inch. So I'm going to take my nail and just kind of make a little indentation on the pen. You can also take a Sharpie and make little dots, at each 1 inch mark. This will be the guide for where we're going to lay our tape. And once you have all of your marks where you want to lay your tape, you'll go ahead and take your tape and wrap it around the pen. The ends should meet perfectly. That's kind of how you can tell if your tape is on straight or not. So your pen will need 3 pieces of tape on those 3 lines that you marked on your pen. So you'll go ahead and continue this process until you have all of your tape laid. I end up using washi tape for my green lines, but it's just a little thinner than the 1/4 inch. But it's up to you how big you want the middle stripe to be between the glitter colors. So you'll go ahead and wrap your pen all the way around. And next we're going to go ahead and start glittering. And here's the glitter we'll be using. This pen is all the pinks, so you really could use any pink glitter you want to, but these are the 4 I'm using. They will be linked down below if you want to use the same. Now we're going to glitter our pens using the Mod Podge method. I'm so used to saying epoxy method, but today we're using Mod Podge. So you're going to brush your Mod Podge on one section at a time in a smooth, even layer. Once you have your Mod Podge applied, you'll go ahead and pour your glitter over that area. Make sure to put a piece of paper underneath to catch the excess. And then you're going to repeat this for all 4 sections of the pen, doing one color at a time. So next we're going to Mod Podge the next section and then use the next glitter and so on and so forth. And try to be careful not to get too much Mod Podge on your green tape. I mean, a little bit is okay, but you don't want a big mess all over the place, and you don't want to hide your tape under all that glitter. So try to be mindful of your lines. After you have glittered all your sections, here's what it should look like. And I will be going back through with a second coat in about 20 to 30 minutes. Here's a quick side-by-side comparison of one of the pens with 1 coat of glitter, and here's the other one with 2 coats of glitter. So the one on the left has 2 and the one on the right has 1 right now. It's a small difference, but I mean, it's totally up to you, however many coats you want to do. If you decide to go through with the second coat of glitter, you'll just Mod Podge right over that first layer with a brush and just pour your glitter right on top of it, just like we did the first time. And I will let this dry for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we're going to remove the tape. Now I use this pick that I got from Dollar Tree to kind of pick the tape up. I've already done that before I recorded it, so now all I have to do is pull it. But you want to very carefully find the starting point on that tape and then just pull it off. So next I'm going to seal my glitter in using the epoxy method. I have just a little bit of epoxy on a gloved finger, and I'm just going to roll it around. I have also sealed my glitter in the past before using matte clear spray paint, but it was dark outside, so I went ahead and just did it with epoxy for this go round. Either way will work. And I'll leave this to dry overnight before we apply our first coat of epoxy. So next we're going to apply our first coat of epoxy. We still need to cover all of that glitter. We did seal it last night using the epoxy method, so it shouldn't shift. But I'm just going to spin all the way around the pen to make sure it's evenly coated. And a little quick tip, I know some people have had issues with their pens getting stuck to the wooden dowel because of the epoxy. So what I do to prevent that is rub a little bit of Vaseline on my wooden dowels and around the inside opening of my pens, and I mean just a very thin layer, and that'll help it to not adhere to the epoxy. And then I'll use my torch to pop any bubbles and let this spin and cure overnight. So after my pens have cured and they are hard to touch, I'm going to go ahead and take them so I can apply stripes. I'll be using this textured gold vinyl by Cricut that will be linked down below. And I'm going to be using my Silhouette Studio to create like stripes cuts. And I'm cutting them at 1/4 of an inch by 2 inches. So you're pretty much just making a rectangle in the program and then making it a very thin, long line. So once you have your stripes cut and ready to go, you can begin applying them to your pen. You'll just wrap it all the way around, and you can just follow the lines where there's not glitter. So you'll follow your previous lines. You can cut off the excess using your X-Acto knife. And here I'm just adding names for the orders that I'm doing. So I'll let my vinyl sit overnight before I move on to applying our final layer of epoxy. If you wanted to seal your decals before applying epoxy, you could do that with a very, very thin layer of epoxy or some matte clear spray paint. But I didn't seal these because I just let the decals sit overnight. Normally I don't have issues when I do it that way, but I understand sealing for safe measure. So you'll go ahead and apply your epoxy all the way around. Use your heat gun or torch to pop any bubbles, and then you'll just let these spin and cure. Once your pens are all the way cured, we're going to go ahead and clean them up so that we can reassemble them and get them ready for packaging. So here are all my pieces that I put in a box and put it away so that I wouldn't lose it. And next I'm going to take my little pick tool that I got from Dollar Tree to go around the inside rim, that threaded portion of the pen. Sometimes the epoxy gets down in there and you need to get that out in order for your bulb and clicker to screw back on. As you can see here, it just kind of pops right out. So you'll just peel that out. You want to make sure that area is really clean. So I'll normally just sit my pen down on a table or a flat surface and then just go all the way around the threaded area. So I'm going to record at a different angle now so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm holding my pick steady with a little pressure with one hand, and I'm rotating the pen with my other hand as I use those threaded marks as a guide. I'm going through each threaded area to remove any epoxy that may be stuck in there. And you will need to do this for both ends of your pen. There's 2 threaded ends. And while you're cleaning, if you feel like it's done, you can test it out by trying to screw on your bulb or your clicker. If it goes on with no issues, then it's clean. If you still have issues, that means you need to clean out more epoxy. Once you get all of that epoxy out, you want to go ahead and take a Q-tip and some acetone and run it along the inside of both ends just to clean it up. Let that dry out completely. Once it's dry, we'll go ahead and reassemble our pen. So now we're going to go ahead and put our pen back together. I will go ahead and screw on the light bulb, and then the positive side of the battery will go down on that light bulb. And once you get your both of your batteries in, you'll go ahead and put in your clicker to the negative side of the battery just to test it out. Let's see, and it works. So I'm going to go ahead and install my pen clip. I usually wait to do that part to make sure the batteries work before I go ahead and finish it off. So install your pen clip and then screw your clicker back on, and that is pretty much it. And here's our finished product. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't think that was too bad, was it? Also, let me know if you try to make it or if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to join us over on Facebook in our group at Black Teacup Community. We'd love to see you there. Thanks, guys.